What up, this is Rama, screen covering movies, TV, and entertainment, and here's my review of Netflix new documentary series, The Principles of Pleasure. Hey, before you watch my review, please subscribe to my channel, press that like button, and ring that bell so you can get notified whenever I post new videos. And if you'd like to help support this channel, please do so at patreon.com/ramashcrane. That's patreon.com/ramashcrane. Let's rock this. Okay, basically, this entire show is sex education for women. And that means obviously I'm not their target audience. But it also doesn't mean that men cannot benefit from it. But here's the thing, half the time I was watching it, I was like, TMI, 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 TMI. It's too much information, system overload. But then the other part of me was like taking notes. What was that term again? Spectatoring? Okay, writing that down. So it all depends on how open-minded you are to receiving the knowledge that this docu contains. But is it wrong to have a brutally honest conversation about sexuality? No, of course not. But what if you don't really want to hear about this stuff because you are a conservative and sex talk makes you feel uncomfortable? Hey, that's a perfectly fine choice as well. Nobody is putting a gun to your head. And you know what? This docu is as educational and enlightening as it is also brash. So if you want to skip it altogether, you'll live. Produced by The Front and narrated by Michelle Buteau, in The Principles of Pleasure, sex, joy, and modern science converge in this eye-opening series that celebrates the complex world of women's pleasure and puts old-fashioned myths to rest. So, there are a total of 3 episodes, at least in the screeners that Netflix granted me. The first episode focuses on the body. The second episode is on the mind. And the third episode finds the connection between relationships and sexual pleasure. And guess what? There are no men featured as a talking head at all. All of them here are women, and this is a show directed, produced, and put together by women. This docu goes graphic in its visualization, let's put it that way. The episode that fascinates me the most is actually the second one, the mind. Because it's so true that it all stems from there. Your understanding your body does help, but ultimately, if your mind is not in it, then you can't achieve pleasure either by yourself or with a partner. So the other episodes definitely point out interesting facts, but it's the second episode that trumps over all of them. Now, during the course of watching this docu, if it strikes you as overwhelming, well, it's because it is. There is so much to dissect, so much to unpack, and they're trying to stuff all of that into these few episodes. It covers a wide range of topics from vulva to sex toys to masturbation to porn to pills. So yeah, it can get a lot. But this show is more preferable and certainly less boring than reading a textbook or sitting through a classroom's overhead projector slideshow. And I also think that The Principles of Pleasure is a much better alternative to that Gwyneth Paltrow's Goop show, because Gwyneth Paltrow's Goop show has that weird new age vibe that preaches to you, whereas The Principles of Pleasure does not intend on being your sex therapist. This show is just giving you the lowdown, no more, no less. Even the women featured here are just giving you their various perspectives. They're not telling you, okay, here's what you should do. But I've said more than I need to, and I'd rather keep this review short. Thank you very much. At the end of the day, what I appreciate the most about this docu, The Principles of Pleasure, is that it's trying to break down or eliminate the stigma or the shame often associated with women's sexuality. And that's hopefully the positive that can come out of this. Emphasis on communication, emphasis on courage, emphasis on not feeling insecure or embarrassed about what stimulates you. And just like sexuality is a spectrum, learning about or knowing about sexuality can be a spectrum as well. Because everybody's level of comfort is different, and sex is a nuanced subject. Some people can live with just knowing this much, while some people won't be satisfied until they know more. Either way is fine, to each his or her or their own. The Principles of Pleasure is quite possibly the most feminist docu to ever hit Netflix, and hey, more power to it.